February 13th, 2019. These are like how many of these have been 13th? There are no more 3DS headlines from here. They're all gone. We open on Mario Maker 2, and they immediately open with slopes, which is like the #1 thing that everyone was asking for from Mario Maker 1. So they knew what they were doing with that for sure. And they show the 3D world theme, which is really cool. It's a shame that we never got more themes. Like, they really talk about it like as if there's going to be more later, and then there just never was. All right, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I remember playing Ultimate Alliance like 1 and 2, like when I was much like younger, and like did this, like, were there a lot of fans waiting for this game? Did it get a lot of like acclaim in the community? Because like from my perspective, it seems to have just come and gone. Box boy plus box girl. There's that darn box again. So here's the thing, right? They give a brief little note for Smash Brothers. They go, it's the 3.0 update. Wait and see. They also show a little teaser about Joker, like showing his in-game model for the first time, because like his initial award show trailer like didn't have him in game at all. So a lot of teasing. Captain Toad got an update for co-op. I didn't realize that wasn't in the base launch for Captain Toad. So like, that's really cool. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. That's a really cool release for Switch and just for gaming as a whole. And then the sequel to Dragon Quest Builders 2. Speaking of Dragon Quest, the big mid-presentation reveal was Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition S. Story trailer, overview on some features, the crazy 2D mode. Like, this is nuts. Like, do more games have this? Like, is it the whole game? The only Dragon Quests I have ever played are 1, 2, and 4. So I've never played this one, but it looks really, really good. Disney Tsum Tsum Festival. We got another Starlink update. This one's for Peppy, Falco, and Slippy. They were not playable in the very beginning of this game, but now they are. They showed Rune Factory 4 remastered, as well as a teaser, or really a logo for Rune Factory 5. So I'm always happy to see franchise health like that. Oni Naki JRPG is all I wrote on my notes about that one. Yoshi's Crafted World got another trailer, this time showing the like the big cardboard costumes that Yoshi wears. Fire Emblem Three Houses got a meaty trailer, like a big spotlight on the world building and the grand story with the different factions. We saw the monastery and met all the 3 houses themselves, like Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude. Like all the various characters there. It was a very long presentation, and then it got delayed. Tetris 99 got its reveal, which I remember a lot of people taking very positively. Like, this is such a while. Like, they've done 99 games like 3 or 4 times again after this. But like, this was such a fun idea for a game. A nice way to breathe new life into Tetris. Dead by Daylight on Switch. I don't know much about that game. Deltarune Chapter 1 got put on the Switch. This is just as big of a deal as Undertale. Daemon X Machina got a prototype demo. Grid Autosport realism racing game. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. That's a crazy game to have on Switch. Mortal Kombat 11, I don't think that runs super well on Switch, but maybe I'm wrong. Unravel 2 and Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. And the final game was Astral Chain, which got its grand reveal here. Not a game that I have played yet, but it's platinum, and like, oh my goodness, like, it looks so action-packed and fast-paced and crazy. That's got to be a game I play one of these days. And they did voice about Bayonetta 3. They talked a little bit about it, basically saying that they're working hard and, you know, it's coming eventually. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Astral Chain, they did a grand reveal for Astral Chain, but that was not the final thing. The real final trailer was Link's Awakening Remake, which this was a very, like, I think a pleasant surprise. You know, 2D Zelda, which is great. A remake of a Game Boy game done to like this artistic like applause, like really, really cool. I know some people have issue with the art style, but I think I love this game. It's also short, and I know some people didn't want to like, you know, pay the full price for such a short title. But I find this game to be really impressive, a nice, lovely bite-sized experience, and if you're new to Zelda, this is a great you know, like little game to get if Breath of the Wild is a bit too grand of a scope for you. So this one's okay. I think that when I was watching these directs, I didn't just get to see the directs, I also got to see like a lot of the old comments that were left by people around, like, you know, the time that the direct was new. And something that I noted was that many people were very disappointed in this one for not having news on some of the most like exciting, like up and coming titles. People were asking for Luigi, people were asking for Animal Crossing, people were asking for Smash reveals. That's going to be a thing for all of these. People are asking for Prime 4. Like, people are starting to notice, like, hey, where'd that go? So if you were like looking for like a lot of first-party titles, or if you weren't really looking for anime-esque games, which there's a lot of people that like lump a ton of games into anime games. This is definitely one of those trailers that get hit with a lot of that backlash. The more I look at this, there's nothing here other than probably Link's Awakening. That was a huge deal for me specifically. Most of these games are ones that I had. I mean, Three Houses is a huge deal, but like this just kind of gave us more information rather than like it being the reveal as a whole. Astral Chain and Dragon Quest XI both look spectacular. And I'm absolutely counting those as huge deals, even though I personally haven't played them. And so I don't know, like I'm feeling like middle of the road, but I mean, we'll see where it stacks at the end. Okay, E3 2019. Oh, this is a big one. We open on Hero for Smash, like the Dragon Quest Hero. What's so cool about this, and I obviously like this, there is another Smash reveal at the end of this, which we'll talk about, but there were a lot of American audiences that looked at this reveal and were not quite impressed. But I remember the following day showing all of like Japanese streamers and watchers looking at this reveal as it was happening and like bursting into tears and having just like the grandest of time seeing this character. And not just like the Dragon Quest XI hero, but also like several heroes of like previous Dragon Quests. Like it was so heartwarming to see, and like a really like strong reminder that like just because a character is not one that you personally are familiar with, doesn't mean that like it's a wasted slot or like, you know, who's that? Like I think back to the times when we were playing Melee, and like instead of asking, you know, going like, you know, oh, who's that? We were more like, oh, who's that? Like with like intrigue, you know? Which naturally transitions into talking about Dragon Quest XI. I wasn't entirely well versed in Dragon Quest back then, and like I'm still not now, but like even I could feel the importance of all of this. So like it was really cool to see. We got the introduction of Doug Bowser. Reggie had stepped down at this point. So now Doug Bowser was making his first debut in a direct, and they made this lovely little animation of like Bowser getting confused. Next we got a really meaty trailer for Luigi's Mansion 3. I remember being slightly skeptical at the first teaser because it didn't show much, even though it was a really exciting reveal. It didn't show too much. This one really went into more detail, showing a bunch of Poltergust abilities, Guigi, and the Scare Scraper coming back, and it looked really nice too. Like it was a big graphical update from the first teaser to this trailer. Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance Tactics, based on the Netflix show, which is based on the original movie. I love Age of Resistance, so like that's really the only reason I'm bringing this up at all. I don't think the game looks all that good, but I love the show. We got a really cool Link's Awakening trailer going into the Dungeon Maker that is new to the remake. I don't think this really ended up having too many legs, and it sort of just was a simple like Dungeon Maker based on already existing tiles, but like it was still cool to see. Got the Trials of Mana remake, as well as the Collection of Mana, putting together some of the Mana, you know, games, which I don't know too much about, but is really cool. Witcher 3 on Switch. Witcher's pretty darn important, so like that's good to have. We got another Three Houses trailer. Honestly, I would go so far as to say a pretty spoilerly trailer. Like, I genuinely, like, obviously I don't remember where I was back then, but like, you know, I genuinely think this one would probably leave me going like, hey, I really didn't want to see all of that. I wanted to experience it in the game. We got Resident Evil 1, like the GameCube remake on Switch, which is so cool. They had like a cool like live action presentation for that one. They also revealed future plans for Resident Evils 4, 5, and 6. And 2 of those are really good games, so that's exciting. I don't want to do that. I need to give 6 another chance. I don't mean to bully it. No More Heroes 3 was such a shock to the system. No More Heroes is such a bizarre franchise, man. And seeing this one, I mean, I know Travis Strikes Again was really meant to, like, you know, get the world ready for 3, but still very, very surreal. And I did play this, and it's quite possibly the most surreal of them all. Contra Rogue Core. Yeah, I think even at my nicest, I could say that this is a game that did not impress or excite, unfortunately. But we did get the classic Contra collection, so that's, you know, that's a silver lining. We got a Daemon X Machina musical trailer. That's what I wrote in my notes. Is that true? And they had a lot of trailers for Daemon X Machina. Like, I feel like I've said it for the past like 3 or 4 directs. Ooh, and Panzer Dragoon remake, which is honestly quite a cool title to do a remake of. There's nothing really else quite like Panzer Dragoon, so like that's a cool bit of Saturn love there. They gave a quick comment about Pokemon Sword and Shield, which had already been revealed at a past Poke Presents. They basically gave like a stay tuned comment, and mentioned that it would be playable in a demo at E3. And then they were going to go into more detail about it at the Treehouse. Almost every single game in this presentation had a little annotation on the bottom that said will be shown at the Treehouse. Any game you wanted to hear more information about, they had more for you. So like that's really good. We got a very, very beefy Astral Chain trailer that took place after that, as well as a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 trailer. Got another one of those. Empire of Sin, sure. We got Cadence of Hyrule, which was not the reveal, as I believe this was in a indie showcase, but still really cool to see it in a full like E3 presentation. And Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2020, which is so fascinating, because like they took a huge break, and I really thought that they were just done for good, but then they made this one, and then they stopped, and then like a few days ago at the time of this recording, they just announced that they're never doing another one. So that's an interesting way to end this franchise. Okay, and then Animal Crossing got its full proper reveal as Animal Crossing New Horizons. What's funny about this reveal, like, it's a great reveal firstly, but like what's really funny is that they talk about that it's been delayed, and they're gonna have to delay it. And how crazy is it that this delay ended up being the best thing that could have possibly happened to this game, for pretty wild reasons. They had a live like E3 presentation for this too. That's crazy, man. Like being at E3 and being a Nintendo fan that year must have been really awesome. Some of these directs have like right before the final reveal, they'll have like a quick show reel to music of just like a good 8 to 9 titles just like quickly shown through. Basically anything they didn't want to like give a huge chunk of time to. But this one in particular, I noted the games because all of them are really cool. We got Spyro Reignited Trilogy, that's huge. We got Ni no Kuni, that's really cool. Hollow Knight Silk Song, ha ha ha. We got Minecraft Dungeons. We got Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein Young Blood. Very cool to see that id Software support still strong. Alien Isolation, which is so cool. Like that game is a really like outstanding performer on Switch. New Super Lucky's Tale, which is also very cool. I think that was an Microsoft exclusive for a time, so cool to see it on Switch. And then they even put a little bit of Mario Maker 2 in there. And then what's crazy about this too, like they opened on a Smash reveal. So I don't think a lot of people were anticipating there'd be a second reveal. And yet there was. They didn't even like have the Smash like cross at the beginning to like prepare anybody for a Smash reveal. They just jumped straight in. And who is it? It's Banjo-Kazooie. I think this was ingenious. It's sort of like pleasing like everyone, right? Anyone who didn't know what, you know, who Hero was definitely knew who Banjo was and was excited for Banjo, and vice versa. You know, if like the Japanese audiences didn't know who Banjo was, they were like, you know, that's fine because like we got our hero. So like whoever this Baron Bird is, like, you know, we're already satisfied, so it's fine. And of course the reveal was really, really cool. I love how it like plays on the K. Rool trailer that happened like a little while you know, prior to this. I love the duck hunt fake out. That's so fun. And they still weren't done. They had one more thing, and oh my god. So I honestly think that even though this game would get a lot more trailers after this, this initial teaser for Tears of the Kingdom, which it definitely did not have that name at this time, is unbelievably cool. It was just this dark and spooky and twisted little teaser, like, you know, which is, you know, people hoped for a Breath of the Wild sequel, but like we didn't know we were getting one, and now we did. And the fact that it was going in this strange direction, like, and like what appeared to be like the corpse of Ganondorf, people were so excited for this. It looked like, you know, like basically it's what everyone hoped for. It's like, let's get a Majora's Mask-esque sequel that takes all of the original assets and goes in a more like out there and dark direction. Yeah, this was an amazing direct. We open and close on amazing Smash reveals, have a bunch of games in the middle, and end on Tears of the Kingdom? Like, wow! Okay, September 4th, 2019, opens on Overwatch for Switch. Did this run? Oh, we got a short look at Luigi's Mansion 3, which I believe was releasing very shortly after this presentation. Super Kirby Clash, which is fun. This is the kind of, like, looked like an expanded version of like the original one for Switch. For 3DS, I did play this a little bit. I think I had a good time. I wish I got some friends to play. I wonder if that probably made the experience a lot funner. Another look at the Trials of Mana remake. We got Return of the Obra Dinn, which I know a lot of people hail pretty highly as a really interesting, you know, deep mystery game. Little Town Hero gets shown again after a long absence. And they talk about Toby Fox's involvement with it as well, which got a lot of people's attention. I don't think this game ended up being all that good, but you know, it's an interesting little, you know, footnote. Then they're like, all right, we got our release date for Banjo-Kazooie and Smash. Are you ready? It's today. So that's exciting. And then they go right to another new character reveal, and it's Terry from Final Fight. This one's tough, right? Like, I don't think I'm too out of line in stating that this is probably the most obscure character revealed for Smash. I can't say, like, even myself who I don't play fighting games, but I know a lot about fighting games, but even I can't say I know much about Fatal Fury, or like King of Fighters, or that whole legacy. Clearly it's got a large legacy. Sakurai seems to care a great deal about it. I remember a lot of people joking where it's just like, you know what, Sakurai gets to have his favorite character here. Like, he's done a lot for us, so he gets this one. And they also announced the development of a second pass of DLC fighters, which was smart. I think if anyone just had a very lukewarm reception to Terry's reveal, I think the reveal of like a second pass, I think would soften that blow quite a bit and make people go like, okay, all right, then we can, you know, look past the fact that we don't know who this guy is. It was a really fun reveal though, with the letter flying around. I think that was, you know, fun. A number of titles got some, like, what I call them quick looks, where they're just sort of like a nice, like remember that this game exists trailer. We got Link's Awakening quick look. We got Dragon Quest XI got another quick trailer. They revealed Tokyo Mirage Sessions, like hashtag FE Encore, like Fire Emblem FE Encore. What is this game? They showed off Deadly Premonition 2, as well as a remaster of the original title. I've never played these. I heard they're weird. We got Divinity, Original Sin 2. id Software then came on and talked about an anniversary title that they were putting together, which was a remaster of Doom 64. Then there was a trailer for a new IP, Rogue Company, which looked just to be some online game. I didn't write much about it. Okay, then we got a large Sword and Shield trailer. They showed outfits and you know, just clothing, which was great. I still think Sword and Shield has the best clothing out of any Pokemon game, and it hasn't been topped. They showcased camping and all of the curry. I never thought I would miss curry, but like now I live in a sandwich purgatory, and I kind of miss curry. They showed some new Pokemon. They showed Poltegeist and Cramorant. And they technically also revealed Arrokuda, not by name, but just by being in Cramorant's mouth. Then they talked about NSO. At this time, it had been out for 1 whole year. So they revealed the SNES games service, which had 20 games at launch, which feels high. Like in a good way. Like that feels just really generous in comparison to how some later game libraries got announced. So, you know, that SNES games really, really cool. Oh boy. Okay, so we have a bunch of titles from here. We got a version 2 update for Tetris 99, as well as a physical edition you can find in stores. They showed Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, specifically the like retro 8-bit, 16-bit events. Daemon X Machina again, though I do think that this is the final look. We got Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. Witcher 3 got a quick look and talking about how it's including all the expansions. The Assassin's Creed Rebel collection, which I believe is Black Flag and Rogue. A game called Dauntless, which is an online free-to-play game. We got Farming Simulator, Outer Worlds, and Devil May Cry 2. Everyone loves that one. It's weird, like they because I know Devil May Cry had like an HD trilogy collection for previous gen, but then for Switch they were just like releasing them one by one, which is really weird. We then got a big look at Animal Crossing New Horizons. They showed off a bunch of new features as an island life like promotional video. They went in a deal about crafting, which crafting is such a big deal that it's hard to imagine a time where Animal Crossing did not have it, as well as placing furniture wherever you want on the island, outside, like just anywhere, which again, mind-blowing feature. That's like, it's so small, you know, like feeling, you just like, you know, place something anywhere you want, but like just like that alone opens the door to so much possibility. I mean, we saw it like all throughout this game's, you know, run. We saw all the amazing islands people were able to put together. Like, these are like big features. They talked about Nook Miles, and then they talked about the multiplayer. And then finally, the last thing that was shown was Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition. This is the big remake of the original title. This also being the only Xenoblade that I've played. So, you know, I have a bit more of an emotional connection to that one than any of the other ones. So, like, on my notes at the very, very bottom, I wrote Nothing Burger. And I don't know if that's extremely fair. There were definitely a number of reveals here that, you know, don't have me jumping for joy. But a lot of these, you know, like, they got a lot of nice big looks at games like Sword and Shield and Animal Crossing, and even like the SNES games. Like, those are all like really exciting things and big expansions to stuff like that either we already had or games we didn't know about, learning a whole bunch more about them. That said, like, especially following E3 2019, I definitely think it's subpar comparatively to that. Okay, this is the one exception that I briefly mentioned at the start of this video. This is from March 26th, 2020. This is a Nintendo Direct Mini. The reasons I'm including this in this ranking, mainly is just to have representation for 2020 as a whole. There were no like larger directs in 2020 for obvious reasons. So this was the meatiest showcase that they had. It's 36 minutes long. So like that's not a small showcase. That's pretty big. So for all intents and purposes, I think I am gonna include it here, which might or might not be fair. We'll see. We opened on a story trailer for Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition, as well as the Future Connected Epilogue, and a collector's edition as well. There was a little montage about 2K games on Switch, which included a BioShock collection, a Borderlands collection, and a XCOM collection, which, hey, those are all really good games, so having those on Switch is awesome. Another look at Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm shocked that there was a lot of buildup to this game's release. Maybe it's bigger than I gave it credit for. It talked about the expansion pass adding X-Men and Fantastic Four. Shin Sakai Into the Depths, which is a Capcom game. I don't even remember it as I'm reading this off my notes. I have to look at that trailer again. Animal Crossing was out by now, so they talked about the first update, which was going to be the Bunny Day update with all the eggs. I think this is more traumatic for Animal Crossing fans than anything. But, I mean, hey, eggs. What's funny is on my notes, I've written good job, exclamation point. So part of me was, oh, thank you. But no, that's a game. And it looks cute. It looks fun. Catherine Full Body got announced for Switch, which is very fun. Always been interested in that game, but I'm a little intimidated by it. We got an update on Ring Fit Adventure, which I don't think was in any of these presentations. I think that got like its own reveal. But this had showcased a rhythm game mode and a jogging only mode. So, hey, that's cool. I use Ring Fit from time to time. I like it quite a bit. We got King's Bounty 2, which is a tactical RPG. We then go to Smash Ultimate, which reveals a little bit of information about Fighters Pass 2, revealing that the first DLC fighter shall be an arms fighter. Very weird that they, like, announced the franchise it would be from and then only revealed the character like much later. Like this is such a strange reveal to me. They did after that though give ARMS a like free like game trial for people, which was really smart. The big mid-presentation reveal was Bravely Default 2. This got a large trailer talking about the extended like story and gameplay. I played Bravely Default 1 and I really liked it, but I've never played this sequel, and these trailers made me want to give it a go. So hey, man, that's cool. Clubhouse Games Classics, 51 games. I wouldn't sleep on this game. There's a lot of people who have a lot of positive things to say about this as a party game, and like I'm tempted to break it out myself next time I got a large group of people, because like it honestly looks fun. Ninjala. Did people play? Did people like this game? Does anyone have any positive memories of playing Ninjala? I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it. If you have experience with Ninjala, let me know. Some more Star Wars game reveals: Jedi Academy and Pod Racer. Get used to these. We'll start to like really be throwing those Star Wars game remasters again and again, which is really cool. They had a shadow drop for the Panzer Dragoon remake that was talked about a little while ago, and Mr. Drillerland. The last thing talked about was Pokemon Sword and Shield, specifically the expansion passes Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. They went into a bunch of detail about Isle of Armor specifically, since that was the first one coming, as well as the new Gigantamax starters. For being 2020, this was a lot of information. Like honestly, for like this is for being a mini presentation, this is pretty good. I still don't think it holds up like compared to some of like the Nintendo Direct greats, but like not bad considering the circumstances. Yeah, and this was all for 2020, so you know, there we go. All right, February 17th, 2021. This presentation was 50 minutes. Like, is this the longest Nintendo presentation ever, or at least for Switch. I mean, 50 minutes is crazy. We had a very long opening on Rex searching for Pyra, and like maybe this was also another fake out, kind of like Isabelle, of like, is this Xenoblade 2 content or is this Rex in Smash? It was neither. It was Pyra in Smash, Pyra and Mithra as a duo character. While I don't know anything about Xenoblade 2, I like Pyra and Mithra. I think that's a fun character concept and like just an interesting subversion for rather than going for the main character, you know, going for the second main instead. Poor Rex. I can't imagine that must not feel very good, but you know, it's still interesting. We got Fall Guys on Switch. Didn't Fall Guys come out in 2020? Or like, this feels like a bit of a late edition, but I mean, it's definitely cool to have it on Switch. Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds. I think I said that earlier. I can't be the only one that makes that mistake. This is where we got the Famicom Detective Club remakes, which both look really cool. And these have both become very relevant now, thanks to Emio. We got Samurai Warriors 5. We got Legend of Mana remastered. Then we got a trailer for Monster Hunter Rise, which showcased a bunch of new monsters, as well as the big rampage mechanic that they were pushing. Then we got a reveal for Mario Golf Super Rush. We got to look at the story mode a little bit, as well as the speed golf mode, which looked pretty fun. I don't know, something about this trailer, though, didn't speak to me the way that the Mario Tennis Aces trailer did. And I'm not entirely sure why. A bunch more headlines. Tales from the Borderlands, very cool. Capcom Arcade Stadium. Stubbs the Zombie, what a random pull. We got a story and gameplay spotlight trailer for No More Heroes 3. Good to get, you know, a little bit more look at that title. Neon White. I loved this game. This is how I discovered it. So, you know, very, very cool addition. DC Superhero Girls. We got a Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Oh, we got Miitopia on Switch, which hey, like that's really cool. If for no other reason, it's cool in that this game is the only one that got announced and released twice in this time period. We got a brief look at some Animal Crossing content, pretty much just Mario items, which were really cool. Most of them are just novelties, but they had that one pipe that let you like transport yourself from like one side of the island to the other. So like that was actually genuinely convenient. We then got a very large reveal for Project Triangle Strategy, which we know would eventually end up with the title, Triangle Strategy. Why do they do this? They went into a bunch of detail about the story and the setting, as well as the tactical battle system. This is not a game that I have played. I'm not very familiar with tactics games as a whole, aside from maybe Fire Emblem. But looks, you know, just as solid as any of the Octopath game releases. So like, yeah, this was just yet another you know, stellar title from that creator team. Star Wars Hunters. Did this ever come out? Like, I mean, this is like a nothing trailer that they put there for this, but like, is this even out now? I just always remember this as a TBA announcement at like the very end of any time I would look at upcoming releases on the eShop. So we then got this questionable trailer for Knockout City, which had this really cool trailer of this like live action interviews of like video game characters, and it looked really fun. And then the gameplay had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. So like, that's confusing. World's End Club, which I honestly really liked this little title. Hades got a physical release on Switch, which is very, very cool. Ooh, okay, so we got Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy Collection. Like, this is some of the Xbox PS2 era Ninja Gaiden games, you know, fast-paced action. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I believe its expansion pass got revealed here and went into detail about what was included there. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I really do like Ghosts and Goblins. It doesn't get a ton of love, but anytime we get anything is exciting. And honestly, I do like this title a lot, and it's you know, it's got very quirky art style. We got Saga Frontier remastered. I don't know anything about the Saga franchise, but it actually gets quite a number of game reveals in the Switch's life. So like maybe I should start learning. And then Apex Legends. I don't know how that runs on Switch. We then transition to Zelda news. They mentioned that there's going to be no information on the, you know, Breath of the Wild sequel at this time, but they did have something for us in the meantime, which was Skyward Sword HD. They went into a bunch of detail about this, which was good. The reputation of Skyward Sword was not all that favorable, so the fact that they go into this trailer and say, hey, you know, all those problems you have with Skyward Sword, we're fixing most of them. I think that was a really, like, very unusual for Nintendo. A very, like, up-to-date, like, informed trailer that's like, hey, you know, we hear you and we're doing, you know, everything that you're hoping that we would do with a Skyward Sword remaster. So I think it's really impressive of them. Finally, we got a Splatoon announcement, and you know, like, with how excited I got over the Octo expansion, you know how much I like weird. So the fact that this trailer opened up in this, like, wasteland desert with this wandering inkling and little salmonid buddy, I was so curious as to what this was. We got the world's longest, most awkward shot on this subway. This shot goes on for so long. It really felt like it was going to be like a single player story adventure in the Splatoon universe. But then they surprised us, like, bam, like, it's Splatoon 3 instead, which, like, whoa, like, we can have 2 Splatoons on a single system? Like, that's crazy. But, like, yeah, that was the final reveal. The sheer volume of games that were revealed in this presentation is impressive. I also think it's important to note that this was the first presentation after a very long drought without Nintendo Directs. So it might have had a more positive reception than you'd think, just because of how long of a gap there was. I do think it's pretty good, though. Not, like, incredible, but pretty good. I have so many of these to go. E3 2021. We started on this very sweet 5 years of Switch message, which was really lovely. They have this moment where they do the Switch snap, and then the other guy on screen is like he missed his cue and then does a snap. Like, it was really funny. We get Kazuya for Smash from the Tekken franchise. Again, like, it doesn't really hit me in any emotional spectrum. I had to look up the significance of the cliff and Kazuya dropping characters off of the cliff. But now that I know, I find the joke to be pretty darn funny. Sakurai himself then came on and showcased a bunch of Kazuya's moves. Even as someone who's never really looked at Tekken gameplay in his life, I could still tell, like, how laboriously they recreated the Tekken fighting style in Smash, and I mean, that alone is very impressive. We got Life is Strange on Switch, which is really cool. Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, really? How does this run? Is this on cloud? A couple of smaller games, Worms Rumble, Astria Ascending, 2 Point Campus. We got Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which that's pretty big. That's a big collection of a ton of Monkey Ball games. So, like, yeah, that's honestly pretty huge. Then they smack us with Mario Party Superstars. You know, great to see. Not just, you know, like the second Mario Party of the generation, but also a far more traditional Mario Party, very anniversary-esque. I feel like a much more positively received anniversary title than Top 100 ended up being. They make it a point to talk about online play, which is because apparently Super Mario Party did not have online play upon release. What? Okay, up until this point, I didn't realize what Direct this was. But it was here that I realized, and I audibly gasped in my rewatch. Metroid Prime 4 gets its first, like, verbal announcement in a Direct in years, and they are like, we are still working on it, it's still in development, but we do have something for you in the meantime. Ugh, what a reveal. Metroid Dread. Oh my god, this trailer is something else. Absolutely one of the most insane trailers in Direct history. Especially for me specifically, like, this is one of those trailers that I go back to again and again and just, like, feel those chills again. And the fact, like, this is a game that we didn't know existed, and that they were announcing it here, and it was scheduled to release within the year, like just a few months after this trailer. Huge. They smartly cut to Just Dance after this, which you'll start noticing in these later directs. After a huge reveal, they then go to Just Dance because everyone's freaking out and they know that they don't have to pay attention to Just Dance. A couple other cool games came after that. Cruisin' Blast, which is so much more fun than you'd ever think it was by looking at it. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is pretty cool. We got some new courses and characters announced for Mario Golf Super Rush. Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I don't think this was the reveal for, but it was a little quick trailer. This looks so good. I've only ever played the original, so I'm really fascinated in 2, and maybe that'll be a good stream game someday. I'll have to think about that. And then WarioWare, out of nowhere, Get It Together. I like WarioWare Get It Together. It's fine. It's not my favorite WarioWare, but again, it's just I love seeing a healthy franchise. So anytime a new a new entry in a franchise comes around, I'm happy, even if it's not one of the finest. Finally, this is also nuts. Again, I don't know anything about Shin Megami Tensei, but knowing that this was revealed initially in the very first presentation, and it took up till now to get a proper trailer, like, Metroid fans and Shin Megami fans, like, you guys gotta talk more. Like, you got a shared pain, I think. But this is with a really cool spotlight trailer. Again, so happy to see that, like, you know, it's finally getting news coverage. And apparently this was also coming soon from this reveal, which was great. Although I don't know if that ended up truly being the case. Did it get delayed? Because again, I feel like I've been hearing news about it recently. Maybe there was like a definitive edition announced or something. Oh, and then a Danganronpa collection. I've quite the relationship with this franchise, so yeah, this is a highlight for me for sure. Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater. I adore Fatal Frame, and like I'm so desperate for one day to get some like new Fatal Frame content. But this is great too. Like, this was a game that was trapped on the Wii U, so very cool. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. Fascinating to say the least. Strange Brigade. I literally wrote nothing on my notes, but I assume you're seeing footage now and you'll be able to make your judgment accordingly. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which is the sequel to the original game, got what looked to be like a second trailer. This didn't seem to be a reveal, but you know, again, just like the original, you know, cool to see it you know, put in front of more people's faces. And then Advance Wars Remake 1+2 Reboot Camp. Very cool reveal. It's a shame in hindsight knowing that this ended up getting into so much behind the scenes trouble and delay due to all sorts of circumstances, but it was definitely a cool reveal at the time. And then a very large chunk of time at the end was given to a number of Legend of Zelda announcements. First, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, an additional look at the Wave 1 expansion pass. Then we got a quick look at Skyward Sword HD. Then we got the Game & Watch revealed for the little Legend of Zelda Game & Watch. You remember that? Then we got a like full proper trailer of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We got like the first actual gameplay. It was very meaty. They showcased a ton of new features. Still didn't have the Tears of the Kingdom title yet, but this was a great follow-up trailer to the initial teaser we got a little while ago. I gotta admit, maybe it's the bias talking, but like this from the Dread reveal onward, this direct slammed. Like, it was just a huge chunk of games that I have a ton of interest in, a few really big surprises, and I mean, like, Tears of the Kingdom is nothing to sneeze at either, so like, yeah, great direct. September 23rd, 2021. We open on a trailer of Monster Hunter Rise, specifically the its new DLC expansion, Sunbreak. Got a quick look at Mario Party Superstars, a couple new modes. There was like the mount mini games, like survival mode. We got a new card RPG, Voice of Cards, which looks kind of fascinating. Disco Elysium on Switch. That's a cool game to have. We got the expansion pass Wave 2 of Age of Calamity. Chocobo, GP, whatever racing thing. God. They shared a little bit of news on the final Smash Ultimate character. We had only one more left at this point. They announced the date for the announcement date for the new character. After that, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Oh, this trailer is so good. I love Kirby, and this game is so good. Definitely another one of those trailers that I love going back to sometimes. Just Kirby waking up on that beach. Just, I love this game. Had a little look at Animal Crossing, little teaser of the villager walking into the Nook, which did not exist in the base game. This is going to be like a free update. They announced that they would have a direct later down the line, specifically for Animal Crossing. New courses and characters again for Super Rush. This was Koopa Troopa and Ninja. Cool that they were still, adding content even this far out. Disney Magical World 2, an Enchanted Edition. This is a 3DS game, right? I'm always happy anytime we get to see 3DS games get like a proper, console release like this. Not exactly the game I'm jumping for joy about, but like, anytime it happens, it's noteworthy to me. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Now we're talking about a Star Wars game that I can really sink my teeth into. Dying Light 2 on Cloud, unfortunately. But then Dying Light 1 also got announced, which I don't believe was on Cloud. Got a quick look at Triangle Strategy once again. Metroid Dread got another trailer. It showed Kraid, which maybe it would have been better if it didn't do that and left that to a surprise. But then that trailer was followed by a second trailer, which went into detail about the story and like the setting, like the planet that you're on, as well as the new website that they made for Dread. Like they really were going pretty ham on Metroid Dread marketing. And a big update for Nintendo Switch Online. This was the new membership plan, the expansion pass for NSO. This is the one that first had N64 games as well as Sega Genesis games, which was, both really cool. I think everyone was expecting N64. Genesis was just a really cool surprise. I think some people were a little sad that it would be like an expanded, more expensive product to get those games, but I think some other people were more understanding. It was a very mixed reception. Let's see, Shadowrun Trilogy, Castlevania Advance Collection, which they launched later that day, which is really cool. ActRaiser Renaissance, a very interesting remaster, also released later that day. Then Deltarune Chapter 2. Okay, then Miyamoto shows up, and this is information about the Mario movie. You might know what's coming. This is that presentation. This is the one where Miyamoto comes up and just sort of politely reveals the cast of the Mario movie, and everyone just laughs. Everyone just really laughs for like 2 weeks straight after this. This is definitely a hilarious moment in Direct history, and it's funny to look at as well in hindsight, because we were all expecting this movie to be like, I don't know. I imagine a lot of people were optimistic, but there were a lot of people out there, myself included, that were like, I have no idea what this movie's going to be. Hearing this cast without having an image in our head of what the movie was even going to look like, we were just like, what is this thing? Of course, now knowing that the movie's out and it's amazing, and even, Chris Pratt even, did a decent job as Mario. Like, it didn't end up being like, the meme-ified idea that we all had. I still think it's a really funny just like moment in time to remember back up on. Got to look at Splatoon 3 a little bit. They showed the Splatville, Splatsville, whatever like the new hub area is referred to in 3. They showed the single player mode as well. Return of the Mammals. Final reveal was a really long and impressive trailer on Bayonetta 3, which had a long absence since its initial announcement, and Bayonetta herself comes in fashionably late. I think what's most noteworthy is that the standards of a Direct have really risen over the course of these years. This was like an average Direct, but like an average direct is so good. Like the standards of this direct compared to some of the early like 2017 directs is immeasurable. So like we have it really good right now.